Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're jumping back into some more mechanical mastery. So I hope you guys are ready. Starting off today, it's going to be all about automating with refined storage, really. I've got to get a lot of stuff set up and processing. Now, it may not be the best setup for processing, as we're not going to be duplicating or anything like that, or doubling. However, we're going to be taking the resources we have and making something so that way we can craft all of that stuff in the future. So I've got to get some sort of backlog of items. So I think to do that, I'm going to be utilizing drawers for this. And this upper section right here is going to be the 10 raw ore that we currently have access to. We are going to get those smelted up. They're like basic ores. That way we can go ahead and request stuff with our storage system, and we can send it to other machines and things like that, and always have that on supply. I think that's the one thing holding me back, is literally just waiting for stuff to smelt. It is quite the time sink for sure. Yeah, if I can talk today. So I think for this, all I'm going to need is 10 EMC links. So I have the perfect setup over here, perfect size for everything. All of the redstone furnaces, like perfect size for all of these as well, for them just to simply be powered, pull from here and put into these drawers. Now, I do need to link these drawers into the refined storage system. So to do that, within refined, I'm going to need to set up a storage bus, if I can find it, or it's not called a storage bus in refined storage. It is called a storage, external storage, that's right. So weird when you go back and forth between applied energistics and this, but this is basically going to allow me to turn an inventory into digital storage, or allow me to at least access that inventory from our refined storage system. So to do this, I'm actually going to hook these drawers to kind of like a drawer pipe, and that is trim. Believe it or not, trim has a weird ability when ran through walls and stuff like that. It has the weird ability to sort of act as a pipe to connect drawers to drawers. So all I have to do is connect it like this, and same on the other side, making sure that this drawer is connected to this one. And now these are counted as one singular drawer system. And all I have to do is slap a controller on them, and we should be able to lock this down. So a simple drawer controller should be able to work. And let's see, right here is my refined cable, so might as well place this here. And even with it connected to the trim, it should be able to work. And then we can hook the external storage up once we get this all up and running. Now on the external storage, I definitely want to make sure the priority is set to 1, higher than our base priority. So that way, if we pull items out, we make sure that it pulls from the drawers first. And if we put items into our system, we want to make sure that it fills the drawers first before trying to fill our digital storage, such as our drives. Now, I think I want to go in order of lowest EMC values first. So to do that, I'll have copper, tin, iron, and then it keeps going up from like this side up. Lead, silver, and then we go back to this page, and we'll start off with nickel, osmium, and gold. I'm not going to do uranite just yet, but that is something that we'll probably end up working on later on. And then zinc. I think that's 10, right? Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. And I can go ahead and get this put in. So there's that linked in, and I've got to link all the rest of them the same way. So time to get this bad boy plugged in. All I have to do is carry up my cable. Now this is sort of in the way. I'm going to pull this around and go in the front, because I want to still make sure this stuff stays hidden. And there we go. All of those machines are plugged in. This, I have another line running right through it. And yep, this is going to do the exact same thing. And now I have all of these machines slowly but surely processing. And once they reach the, I think it's 2048, which I think is how many ingots these hold, we should be good. But I think we're still managing to produce more EMC currently than we're actually spending in processing all of these resources. So the only thing left to do is hook in our refined storage system. And as you can see, now it's hooked in. And this should now allow me to see all of the tin, for example. There's 41 tin, which means there should be 41 tin in here, or 42 at this point. And let's see. Yep, 4310. And if I pull this out, you can see that that is technically out of this drawer as well. Now, we do want to make sure to lock these drawers just in case we pull out all of the ingredients and we accidentally put something in its place before this can restock. So the key is really, really handy for this. And we can actually lock all of these by simply just clicking on the drawer. And so now all of these are locked, meaning if we pull all the resource out, it's still going to hold it almost as if it's a filter. I mean, it kind of is a filter. Let's be fair. Now, I definitely need to finish up the blue essence, this stuff right here. And last episode, we ended up getting steel going. So the steel is running and we have it all automated, but now we need to finish up automating and take the stuff that we're EMCing right here. We're just simply trashing this essence, and we need to feed this essence into our blue essence and then collect a bit of the blue essence and then eventually turn this into EMC, which is going to be the process that we do. But for right now, let's go ahead and think simpler because we have to get this going. So bronze is one of the things we're going to need. So I'm going to put an exporter on top here, and then we're also going to need invar. So this can actually send multiple items into the induction smelter, and then we can feed that into the bottom and make sure that is set up and whatever it processes. And then this is going to turn one of the things into bronze rods, and I don't have to be super accurate with this. And then this is going to be turned into gears, which is going to be the invar. And then over here, the steel that we're producing is going to get turned into gears. And all of this is going to get fed into a mixer, which is probably the weirdest part of this whole setup. But the mixer should be able to fit down here somewhere. So because we're producing the resources over here, I can actually take these resources that we're producing and feed that into the production of bronze, right? So the production of bronze in the induction smelter is tin and copper. So I'll just simply take tin and copper and feed that into this as far as the raw form goes. So we just have to tell it what to put in here, or we're not actually putting the raw, but we need to tell it what to put in here, and that is going to be the ingots. There we go. For that should hopefully accept. It looks like it is plugged in. Ignore redstone signal. Should be fine and should be putting in here. Oh, this one has a filter. Ah, that's right, because this was set up a while ago. There we go. So as you can see, the copper is feeding in here, and I assume once all of the copper is in, it'll start putting the tin in. And then we basically need to do the same thing over here, but for invar, which, if I remember, is iron and nickel. Yeah, a lot of these things you just end up memorizing when you've played it for so long. So yes, I will make sure to put all of that in. And there you go. You can see they're feeding in. I think this tin might be the wrong tin because there's a lot of ore dictionary tin. Ah, there we go. So yeah, I had to make sure that this is the right tin. And as you can see, it's starting to put it in now. There's all kinds of weirdish things that goes on in modded Minecraft when you make a mod pack, and the fact that ore dictionary and stuff like that, there's multiple mods that add multiple different types of the same ingot can cause problems, and it's definitely plaguing this pack, I can already tell. Now, I've got some cabling running through here. I almost have everything ready to go. I have my filter in. I have some logistical cables taking all of the items from our drawers going into this, but I gotta get this powered. So I'm going to use a water wheel right down here if I can get it to go in correctly. So right here on this, and I do need to get a bucket of water down here as well. In the newer versions of Create, this is not actually an issue anymore. You don't really have to worry about what direction, but in my case, I do. But we should be able to power this off of one water wheel, believe it or not. So down here, the fins are facing this way, so you want to put the water in the direction that is going to be generating the most resistance against the fins. And since the fins are facing to the right, we want to make sure that the water flows to the left. And to do that, there you go. We have that up and running. Now, I'm going to get a shaft to connect to here. And then I need to get a cog going, and I need that cog to basically gear up 1. And by doing that, as you can see, I have just geared up 1. And then I can go ahead and actually, let's see, we could have, I guess, raised this up 1 more, and then it would have just been perfect. So let's raise it up 1 more, and we'll get that perfect gear ratio going. There we go. and then we'll ratio right to this, and this is now spinning fast enough. It will not spin off of the lowest ratio. So it's almost ready to go. I think the only thing we need to do is put an item in this container here to make sure we filter, so that way this pipe can only pull out the thing that is in this drawer, which is going to ultimately be the essence that we're going to need. There we go. There's our one essence. And I really hope this works. So back here, I need to go ahead and get my extracts going. And it really shouldn't matter if it's pulling out too much here. But there's those. And then this needs to hook to the top, which is going to be our logistics pipes. And we make sure to disconnect this. We don't want that pulling anything, but we want this to be pulling the basic essences out of here. And that should put all of that stuff into this, and thus we should get that automated. As soon as it starts to pull around, we should start seeing it. There it goes. Going through the pipes. And the anticipation. There we go. We now have the blue essence automated. And then now with that done, we should be able to pull that out, and it should go right into this container. And now all we'd have to do is run a pipe, I think, so we have some space, because these are kind of in the way, I think. Actually, no, these are not in the way. We could just run cables right over. So to get this set up so that we were producing EMC from it, I just need another press right on top to press it, and then an EMC link right on top to send it to. And it's automated, and we have it all done in this nice space. Oh, that is perfect. Look at that. It's just running and running and running, which is really, really nice. Now, I do want to make sure to lock these drawers yet again. Perfect. I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my voice, but it's really nice when like accomplishments like this happen. Like, I really like how this is going so far. And there we go. So with this, I can now start to focus on upgrading our thermal machines even further, because this actually is used to make the reinforced integral components. And so I'm going to need signalium and all of that fun stuff, along with electrum and stuff like that, combining that together to get that 3 times, which is only going to make these machines and everything run faster, which is better. Yes, it will cost more power, but they're going to go faster, meaning we're producing more EMC, and we're producing these processes even faster than now. Now, the only way to make these faster, of course, is to use speed upgrades and, of course, energy upgrades, but also these. These are going to be very important. So 3 of these for our steel, as steel is our bottleneck, it does appear. So let's go ahead and put these on our machine. So this is going to turn them into a factory when we shift right click them. And this is kind of crazy once we do this. So this right here, we want to make sure to auto sort, and that is going to split them up so it can produce basically 3 in 1. And this right here is going to produce 3 in 1 as well. And that should get that going quite more. Now, I think it's better on us if we switch the redstone furnace and we switch it for the actual smelter that is a part of mechanism, as it can do the same thing and smelt more than 1 item at a time. So in theory, we've basically just upgraded this thing, and we've made it so it's 3 times faster than it was, I think. There we go. We have that outputting down to here. This should output 3. And then, of course, once I get some upgrades on those, like some speed, I think I was doing speed upgrades. I was doing like 4 speed upgrades per for right now. I don't want to overdo it and like overload my power that I'm generating. But yeah, I was just doing 4, and then energy. These are super important. Energy is really nice. I could probably get away with 8 energy upgrades and then 4 speed. Then we don't have to worry about how much it's consuming. I always put the energy in first and then this, but yeah, that's going to be way fast. Okay. Might be too costly. It does seem like we're hitting our sort of bottleneck on our power. That's definitely what that looks like. And then what I can do, I think I can just uninstall a couple of speed upgrades till I see that number going up. Then we know we've definitely balanced it out. So there we go. So there's the speed. Seems like that is plenty to keep up with all of this. Oh, yeah, we're running into power issues. Might be time to upgrade our cables. I think that actually might be our problem. Cool thing about Mechanism, and I just recently discovered this because I didn't know about it, but these basic components here, like the infused alloy that we need to get more of made, we can actually right click this on cable. Let me craft some up and then I'll show you. So yeah, it was definitely though our power. So I went ahead and put upgrades in all of these. And that seems to be helping with our power consumption that we were dealing with. But here we go. I have these. As you can see, I just clicked on them with this, and it upgrades all of the pipes. It'll upgrade the same amount as if we had just crafted it, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, something else to add to this that can help with the overall amount of stuff that's going through these drawers is called a storage drawer limiter. And what this basically does is it can limit how much this drawer can actually hold. So you can see this reduces the base storage by a single stack. So this should no longer hold more than a single stack, I do believe, which is really nice. So that way, if it overflows, this doesn't continue to try and fill something that can hold like 2,048 items, which can be kind of overwhelming, especially since we're relying on how much EMC we're generating. So believe it or not, quartz is actually something that is quite powerful that we are going to probably want to automate as well today. And I have myself a water wheel here, and I'm going to be using this as my main source of power for right now for our fan. And this is actually going to be the full automation for this. So all I have to do is, let's see, put this down here. Make sure we get that water going in the opposite direction of the fins. So there we go. We have some rotational power. That's exactly what we need. And I can go ahead and close that up. Very, very nice. And then what I want to do is I want to use a crafter and a depot. But I also want to use a fan down here. So the fan, hopefully this is spinning in the right way. It is. So the fan can go here. I want to try this. Let's try some trap doors. Let's get some trap doors up in here. Place the trap doors right here. And then I can use some water. And by the way, I am going to have to recreate some sort of infinite water setup somewhere. You know, how about in this random corner? So that way I don't make a whoopsie and then lose all of my water. I should make an EMC-able item that gives me infinite water, but this will do for now. There we go. Now we have infinite water. All I needed is a single bucket, and that can go right there. And then we have the column of washing, we can call this. And I think it will actually wash items that are on this depot. I hope. Will it? I have no idea. Let's actually try. So I'm going to need some soul sand. And let's see. We can put items on the depot. It basically holds the items, and it is going to wash them. Look at that. So this should wash, and then should turn this into quartz. And when it turns it to quartz, we should be able to collect it. Now, I can do this on request, or I can just use an exporter, which I think I want to use an exporter and request. So let's do exporter. Can I spell? There we go. There's the exporter. And back to refined storage, we need the not the requester. That's a totally different item. We need this thing that is always looking around, a detector. There we go. It's so weird with all the color things showing up in JEI. It really makes it hard to find the items you're looking for. And there it goes. So yes, it does convert. Now it should do a stack at a time. This depot should be able to hold a stack at a time. So if I have an exporter sending the items to the top, and then an importer over here, well, not there, but an importer on the side, because you can actually pull off of this as well, then we should be able to automate this quite easily. And then we can use, like I said, that detector right here to send this a redstone signal when we have more than, I don't know, we can do 1028 quartz, since I do use quartz a lot. And then we can say emit a redstone signal when above that amount. Yeah, emit a signal when above this amount. So when it is above this amount, it should shut this off when we have this set to only work without redstone signal. So there we go. And you can flip this back and forth, whatever's comfortable for you, just so your redstone logic is correct, and make sure it's working, then you should be fine. Good. I have some cables right down here, so let's grab that. And then we just need to plug this in. So that's plugged in. That's plugged in. And then we need to grab some soul sand. And we'll tell this, hey, pull soul sand out of the storage. But you might be wondering, well, Chosen, it can't pull out of the storage just yet. And that's true, because we don't have the thing hooked up just yet. But it will be hooked up in the future. But for now, I'm just going to throw some soul sand into my storage. And then that should get it jump started. But here soon, we'll be able to pull things that are in our tablet out using refined storage. Oh, by the way, I also need to set up a filter and make sure the filter is set to whitelist. So that way it will not pull out of there. And yeah, at the moment, it's only going to do one at a time, which isn't very efficient. So doing a stack upgrade would probably be the fastest way to do this. That way a whole stack goes on here. And I don't know, do I have enough stuff for stack upgrades? I might. Yep, I definitely have enough for a stack upgrade. And that will make that a little bit better, because then it's just going to put a stack in here instead of a single one, I believe. I don't think it builds up normally. Yeah, there it goes. There's a whole stack in there now. And that should make this process a little bit more smooth. Oh, I also had to include gold with this because I forgot that this also washes gold every now and then. Now, since I just automated a little bit of create, you can kind of get a picture of, well, it's going to take a lot of space for things, especially how we've seen the crushing wheels. They take up a lot of space, and we're going to need a huge area to get all of that going. So how exactly am I going to go about doing it with this and early on? Well, I think what I'm going to have to do is utilize the combination of ender chests. Thankfully, we do have ender chests in here, which is great, allowing us to send items cross-dimensionally. And speaking of dimensions, well, it's about that time. It's compact machine time. Yes, compact machines are actually in here, believe it or not. So, we are going to need some deep slate for this. So I will take some of this deep slate, which is EMCable. By the way, if you're wondering how you get this, I just put it in got it from the Igneous extruder. All we needed is one, and then we're ready to go. But yes, compact machines. So we should be able to handle this. Looks like I am going to have to summon some blazes in order to get this. But as far as all of this goes, we should be able to make a polished deep slate by combining it just like this. And we can simply make them. Look at this. I mean, it's very simple to make these things. All it requires, for example, this is a tiny one, copper. This is iron, gold. Goes to obsidian, diamond, and then netherite. Diamond is probably going to be the most practical. I think diamond is going to be the most practical. And we could probably use this. I think this will be just fine for getting some basic create stuff going. Now, for these particular compact machines, if I place one right here, well, actually, let's raise it up one, because I kind of like to give these like a little bit of a display. So we have that there, item frame on that, and then we can say, hey, this is going to be our create area. Now, I don't know if I can interact inside here, but you basically take your personal shrinking device and you right click on it, which we're going to have to, get onto the side. There it is. And there we are. We are inside. Not a huge space, but this should be space enough, I think, to hopefully get a little bit of create in here. Specifically like some crushing wheel stuff and things like that, that can be powered from some steam engines. So I was about to make a really interesting steam generator setup and realized there's one thing in this pack that is blocking me from doing that. And that's that there's no bamboo. How come there's no bamboo in this pack? There's no way to achieve or get it. You don't get it from the quest. You can search here for bamboo. There's no bamboo in any of the quest lines. There's no bamboo, and there's no way to get it, I believe, and unless this grows in some magical way. Oh my goodness, there is a way, but it is very, very weird. Bamboo can apparently be found while fishing in a jungle biome as a junk item. So that's how we're going to be getting it, apparently. Now, to go fishing, I'm not doing it the manual way. We're making an aquatic entangler, and there's actually a fishing net. Yes, a junk net that just specializes in catching junk. And that's how we're going to have to get bamboo. Kind of interesting. What a twist of events. Now, the reason why I want bamboo is because we can put it in the rolling machine to get a straw. And this will allow us to basically pump lava into our blaze burners. Blaze burners normally require you to have some sort of machine clicking lava onto it. Well, in our case, we can just automate it a lot simpler, and that will make the steam engines way, way smaller. Now, believe it or not, we're actually in a jungle biome. That's where our base is actually located. How cool is that? As you can see by this right here, we're actually in a sparse jungle. Hopefully that means it's still a jungle. But this needs to be in reality, a 7x7 on the inside, because we want this surrounded by 30 blocks, the aqueous accumulator. So, or not aqueous accumulator, the aqueous attangler. And so if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll see this right here, 3 blocks up. It'll be surrounded by 3 blocks of water on all sides. And this would technically be the most effective way of fishing, right? This whole thing just needs to be surrounded. Now, I've got to fill this in and get this filled with water. That's going to be the hard part. Now, the hardest part about setting up a large body of water is literally that, getting the water in. So what I should be able to do is line this up with a block on the top, and then once I get it all filled up in the top, I can break it, and hopefully that will fill the entire area. I've got all hope right now. That's all I have going for me. I currently have a water bucket and a dream. I'm trying to make the best of it. Once you get enough water sources in here, the whole thing will fill itself, or try to. Yeah, there you see. Perfect. And then we boop this. And hopefully this whole thing fills with water. And there you go. It's definitely filled with water. So 3 blocks up. We'll put this in. And it doesn't, I don't think, matter what direction it's facing, just so long as it's surrounded by all this water. And then I'll put the net in. And then it should fish junk. Now, while it's doing that, we're going to start working on some refined storage stuff. Yeah. Oop, there's a bit of a hiccup. Yep, that's the part with the water not going in all the way. Yeah, I'm going to have to somehow boop the water in. I don't even know how to... There we go. There it goes. It finally worked. All right, perfect. I'll even go ahead and put one of these in here. Yeah, that should help speed it up as well. You can't put a linkage amplifier or anything like that in there, so you're literally just limited by these. However, you can put filter upgrades in this, which is kind of helpful if you're looking for just a specific thing. But for right now, we'll just let this inventory fill up. Hopefully we get some bamboo out of that. That'd be really nice. Now, with a hold on that, I want to make my life a little bit easier with refined storage. I have to constantly go back and forth to this thing. So I think getting into the refined storage wireless would be a good idea. So I'm going to need a wireless transmitter. And since we already got quartz going, I'm not super worried anymore about our quartz issue, because that should be nice and filled up. Because yeah, the refined storage uses a lot of quartz. So wireless transmitter is how we're going to access this. And hopefully they have the wireless crafting grid in here. That would be kind of a pain if they don't, but I'm pretty sure it's in here. Let's see. Crafting grid. Is it? Yep. Super wireless grid. Looks like it is. So, yeah, that's what we're going to need is a regular grid. And that's what I'm working on making. Just like this. And then we put it together. Ooh, but we need this. Okay, so we are going to need a netherite ingot. Yep. Believe it or not, we actually have netherite. We actually just got access to ancient debris. However, it costs 65,000 EMC. Even though, like, I mean, that's a lot. Thankfully, we get one. That's free. But, yep, we're going to need 4 of these. And it would be a lot better if we were able to use something else. Is there anything else that gives us a bonus? So an enrichment chamber is the best way to do this. I'm actually going to steal this out of my enrichment chamber. Hey, Mr. Enrichment Chamber, I'm using you for a moment, and we're doubling up here. Yeah, that's a lot better. So we basically get 2 for the price of 1. Some gold, and we'll have ourselves netherite ingots. It's, yeah, that's pretty nice. Look at that. So for that wireless crafting grid, yeah, it is a bit more expensive to get started, but we're going to need this anyways. We're going to need netherite for the network transmitters that are going to allow us to go back and forth and transfer all that information cross-dimensionally. Oh boy. Let's make a wireless grid. Oh, that requires an ender pearl, doesn't it? There we go. Basic wireless grid. And then we're going to upgrade it to the super, well, that's a super wireless grid. We want a, did we even need a super wireless grid? This, oh, mode crafting. Okay. So yeah, it has a crafting mode. Okay. Whew. Okay. So what we need to do is actually click on our controller, shift right click on our controller, and that will link this to it. And then we just need to charge it. And then of course here soon we'll have a way, but there we go. Shift right click on it. That should be linked up. And then we just need to tap into our power and get things charging. I think I'll just tap into my power over here. I have just a growing thing of machines, a whole line of machines over here. Because like I still don't have everything like accessible and automated, which is why I need all of these random machines everywhere. So cables and also the charger, right? Oh no, it's not called a charger. It's part of thermal, the workstation, workbench. Goodness, so many things to memorize. There we go. Nice. And that'll get charged up. It looks like it holds 100,000, which I think is way more than the base. I think it only holds 1,000, or not 1,000, 16,000. No wireless transmitter. So let's place our transmitter right here. And there we go. Then we can, of course, change our size and make sure everything's linked two-way. I don't like it auto-selected, but I do like two-way. And oh, that's so nice. The only thing we need now are range upgrades. And once we have range upgrades, this will be reach quite far, like up to 48 blocks or something like that. It's quite the distance. Honestly, I don't think we even need that far. By default, it's 16 blocks. When we put this in, it goes to 24. Yeah, I think it's 48 when it's fully upgraded. Yep, and there we go. 48 blocks. Oh, that's going to be so much nicer. Now, I like to have my crafting grid set to a specific keybind. So it's called Super Crafting Grid, I think. Is there a keybind? The Super Circuit Maker Crafting Grid, Wireless Crafting Grid right here. So by default, it's set to Control G. I like to set it to Control E, because E, of course, is how I open my inventory, and then Control E would allow me to open my grid. There isn't a wireless grid in your inventory. Okay, what mod is this from? This is from Reborn Storage. Okay, so we'll have to change our options here in the keybinds. I'll definitely want to remove this one, but I need to search Reborn Storage. And there's open wireless grid. There we go. That's the one I want to set it to. So there's multiple, and yeah, I'm going to have to watch out for that. So that's switch super. So to switch the grid is Control G. So I guess I can probably keep that one. And there we go. Perfect. And this can go in our curio slot. I like to put it in my head slot because nothing normally goes there. And there we go. Perfect. I can now just use a hotkey, and I don't have to be in my inventory for this. So back to my aquatic rectangular. Apparently having it underwater, for some reason it wasn't working. So I just moved it up above the water to be on the top. And according to the wiki, this is also how it's supposed to be set up, where it's actually on the top, and it needs to have at least 2 blocks underneath it in order for it to work. It's already started to work. So, okay, I'll take that. That's really nice. So it's already gathered lily pads, which I think is another thing that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to leave it and hope that it gathers those few items for me. So I hope by next episode, we have ourselves enough stuff to get all the create madness back up and running. That is going to be the fun part. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know we've progressed quite a bit in the last couple of episodes. And like I said, trust the process. Things will happen. We just had to get through the early game grindy bit. And I think now things are definitely flying. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, as I'd really appreciate that. And also give this video a huge thumbs up. Also check out my Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. Have it all linked down in the description below. It's a great place to just come and hang out. Like if you're looking for somebody to play Minecraft with, it's a great community to find friends. I will say that. A lot of bonds have been made on my Discord. So be sure to check that out. Over 27,000 of you have already joined, so I'd love to have you. Guys, it's now time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that huge thanks, by the way, is going to go out to out GG knees. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a beautiful Discord premium member. And if that's something you're interested in, of course, if you do join the Discord, you can always check that out. Of course, that is 100% optional to join the Discord, but it is a way to support the channel if that's something you're looking for, as you do get a bunch of perks, including access to our subservers. So guys, I thank you so much for watching. Of course, I hope you enjoyed. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.